Yeah, what is going on? Let's bring this over here, right? We got to bring this over here first if we're going to be talking live to you guys. What's going on? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out the RCWR Show. I am coming at you guys live right now, minutes removed from WWE Elimination Chamber 2018 for February 25th. 2018. How the hell y'all been, man? How about that finish? Can we talk about that finish? Is it okay for yours truly to say, I really, really was optimistic? And I had said that as early as last week's RCWR show with regards to offering match predictions for this pay-per-view event. I said, you know what? Is it okay? Can you guys? I know there's probably going to be some snickering and all that other stuff, but can you just allow me to be a little bit optimistic? And I gotta say, a bitter taste left in the mouth. Yeah, how about you guys? Like, how can you wash that down? I mean, I've got my beer. I'm trying my damnedest to wash what I just saw in those closing moments. I'm trying to get that bitter taste out of my mouth, but it lingers. It just continues to linger, man. Oh, I want to hear from you guys. We've got the newest interactive poll that's available right now. Take your pick. It is on YouTube. It is also on Twitter. On YouTube, you can head on over to the main channel page and click on over to the communities tab, and you can vote that way. Simple question. I'm asking you guys straight up, what did you make of tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber event? Your options are thumbs up, thumbs down, staying in the middle. And I got to tell you, I just put the poll up via YouTube like a few seconds ago, and nothing just yet because I literally just put it up. But it hasn't even been 5 minutes since I put it up on Twitter. And the results that are just coming in so far, I mean, we're close to bringing in at least 200 votes. And I got to tell you, I think the way people are voting right now, they too had a little bit of a bitter taste left in their mouth as well. I'm going to kind of be jumping around a little bit, but I'm going to give it to you guys straight down the middle as far as this card had went about. I do appreciate how you guys are checking out the show right now, whether you're checking it out live on YouTube where you can see me in the flesh, or you're checking it out via the RCWR Show app. It is a free app that is available for you Android users in the Google Play Store. So have at it. You can download it every single time the show is live. You get notifications. You can hop on in there. You don't have to pay anything. Just download the app for free and enjoy. It's got the built-in chat, all that good stuff. You can't beat that. And then most importantly, it's free. Free. You cannot beat free, my pretty babies. You can check it out that way. We're also live on Spreaker right now, and I'm also live on Facebook for this next little bit. So make this interactive. I want to hear from you guys because, after all, it's not just my show. It's all of our show as far as what we thought about this pay-per-view event tonight, man. On that note, let's dive into it. All right, so let's kick it up. Look, if you ask me overall, just off the break, what did I make of the pay-per-view overall? I thought from the pre-show right on up to the end, minus the finish, I thought it was actually a decent pay-per-view. I must say, I was into all the matches. I love the stories that was being told inside the ring. If there was one major criticism I have with regards to this pay-per-view event, I'm not sure if many of you all had noticed it as well, but the camera angles all throughout the night, there were so many camera angles, it wasn't even funny. It was a situation where I ended up becoming a little bit nauseous at one point, and I had to look away from the TV because every time you turned around, it seemed like every 3 seconds they just kept switching camera angles, and it was just nauseating. I don't know if there were a lot of you guys that were kind of feeling the same way as I was, man, but I just was not feeling it. I was not feeling the camera angles. Sometimes if they weren't cutting away abruptly every handful of seconds, it also seemed like they also were
shaky. Every single time you would go to another camera angle, it just seemed like it was very shaky. And then you had the wide zoom in and the wide zoom out. All of that was just really freaking irritating as hell. Very nauseating compared to what we see on SmackDown, compared to what we see on NXT, compared to what we see on Raw. For me, just tonight, and I usually don't notice those things with regards to the camera angles, but it just seemed like on this pay-per-view event, there was a lot of spamming going on. And if it turns out it's the same level of spamming that is stretched across all the pay-per-views, that stretched across all of the shows that come on TV each week, wow, that's all I've got to say. But yeah, I just was not really feeling that tonight. Let's talk about the pre-show. We only had one matchup that had came from the pre-show tonight, and that had consisted of Gallows, Anderson. They were in a match against Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel. Nice of a good warm up, get you ready for the crowd there. We saw the team of Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson pick up the win. It's actually a decent matchup. Enjoyed the pre-show kickoff that had consisted of Renee Young, the return of Booker T, Peter Rosenberg. All of them had gelled pretty well. Enjoyed that. Really not much I can sink my teeth into as far as the pre-show. Normally there's a few things that jump out at me, but there really wasn't anything that you could really say. So honestly, guys, if you didn't get a chance to check out the pre-show, that's okay, because you really didn't miss out on anything. There wasn't any colorful, fun interviews, nothing like that. That was okay. I've got to go out of my way to watch it compared to what you normally would see from the pre-shows. You honestly would have been just fine. And again, for those of you that might have been curious, there was only one pre-show matchup. Pre-show had came on an hour before the pay-per-view event. So if you skipped out on it, you did not miss anything. Trust me, you did not miss anything. Let's go to the actual pay-per-view event card itself. Things had kicked off with the very first Elimination Chamber. I'm talking about the very first women's Elimination Chamber for the Raw Women's title that had consisted of Mandy Rose taking on Sasha Banks, taking on Sonya Deville, taking on Bayley, taking on Mickie James, taking on Alexa Bliss. Now, rather than just go straight to the winners, can I just talk for a little bit about what performances really jumped out at me and my mind as far as pros, and then as far as needs a little bit more work? I've got to say, as far as who impressed me the most, and I don't want people to say, well, what about Mickie James? Well, what about Sasha Banks? For me, I'm looking at the newcomers, and I was looking at the newcomers during this matchup. Yes, I'm talking about you, Mandy Rose. Yes, I'm talking about you, Sonya Deville. Y'all are the ones that I'm looking at. Alexa Bliss, to a certain degree, I'm kind of looking at as well, but I've seen enough of her body of work from NXT and then on SmackDown. I already know I don't really need to be watching Alexa like that. For me, it was all about how did Mandy do? How did Sonya do? And I have to say, they held their own very well from the moment that they came up to the main roster a couple of months back. I think we all can be in agreement. Things were a little bit shaky for them. But as far as when you compare Mandy and Sonya, who's really getting it down more in the ring? Who's it clicking for more in the ring? It almost kind of came off as if it was a tie for many, many weeks. But I think as the weeks progress, and I believe you all would be in agreement with me that Sonya Deville is sticking out just a little bit in some areas. Let's really put an asterisk by that, in some areas. So you can say as far as in-ring ability, Sonya is advancing better than Mandy, but as far as character development, largely in part to the mixed challenge, Mandy Rose has excelled. So, it's interesting when you really kind of stop and you think about it. But I thought both women did very well tonight. I was already gearing up because I'm looking for the botches. I know Botchamania be having a field day. They had a field day alone based off of the last go round from Sasha Banks at the Royal Rumble. But I gotta tell you, as far as Sasha Banks went tonight, all of her moves very fluid, nothing jagged. We didn't see a situation where Sasha Banks was just throwing stuff in thin air and you can see it pretty much clear as day. Nothing of that nature. She actually had pulled in a pretty decent performance. I would have to say this match went exactly the way I thought it was going to go down, which was at one point Mickey James, to a certain degree, Sasha Banks. Also, you could kind of say to a degree, Alexa Bliss really kind of doing their part and making sure that Mandy and Sonya were pretty good. Yeah, they're still a little bit green behind the ears, but they did a really good job in not overexposing them for their greenness, I personally felt. So good elimination chambers match for the women. You kind of can't help but walk away from this and say, okay, so how many more first ofs are we going to get for the women? Is this the end of it? Or are we now going to kind of get to that point where, well, maybe there needs to be a female version of the Andre the Giant battle memorial, right? That's actually one interesting response that was given to me on social media earlier today. I'll tell you guys about the proper setup later on. But how many more firsts are we going to do? Has WWE gotten it all out of their system, or are we in line for seeing more first ofs when it comes to the women? I mean, curious minds have to know, where do you go from here? Because after all, there's only but so many firsts you're going to be able to do, mind you. But the women did really good tonight. I have to say, I was damn impressed. Very well. As far as if there was anybody that had a bit of a weak performance, just going back and really looking at it, is it wrong for me to say I was expecting a little bit more from Bailey? Is it a little bit wrong for me to say that from a booking standpoint, I was expecting a little bit more of an aggressiveness type of offense to Bailey? Now, some would say we kind of saw a little bit of that, but for me personally, I just kind of felt as if booking wise, and maybe that's the way it needed to be spun, because maybe we're being put on a journey that's going to stretch on out in a matter of weeks, because that's the other thing we need to talk about too. Not just who won, but what's next for the losers. So your winner for the Elimination Chamber match for the women, it would be Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, somehow through fire and rain, somehow she was able to actually successfully go through this match and come out on top despite the odds being against her. Yes, did we see Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville team up for a hot minute and they were just running rough shot? Yes, we did see that. At one point, did we see a situation where Sasha Banks and Bailey, they put their differences to the side, whatever it may have been, weeks past, months past, and did they team up? And yes, we saw all of these things, but as you would expect from an Elimination Chamber match, there can only be one. Every man or woman fights for themselves. So we did see eventually dissension. And I tell you, you couldn't have booked this match any better. You couldn't. And foolish me to pick against Alexa Bliss. But I just did not honestly believe that we were going to get Alexa versus Nia Jax at WrestleMania. Even though I've said this for months, I've personally felt that it would be a really great story that you could tell. There's a lot of backstory that's there, especially when you also combine what's been coming about on the Total Divas series. So I mean, there's plenty of material that you can run off of. And I know that we have a lot of people, especially over at our good community slash friends, family over at the Epic Sports. A lot of people really was pulling in for Nia Jax, just kind of jumping ahead a little bit. But I tell you, man. Oh, hang on a second here, guys. Oh, yes, we can show that, no problem. Yeah, we can show that, no problem. But I'm sorry if I had got a brain fart just now. It was because I was looking at a comment in YouTube that needed to be approved. I didn't see any problem with that comment, honestly. But anyway, no. But when you really stop and think about it, it was a great story that you could tell between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. And I personally felt that was the route you should have gone. If you're not going to do it leading up to Mania, when are you going to tap into that story arc? And I feel a lot of people that are saying, when is it going to be Nia Jax's time? Not to jump ahead a little bit, but yeah, I'm totally there with you guys. 100%. 100%. But if you would have told me that Alexa Bliss was going to walk out of there with the Raw Women's title, I would have said, what happened? Was there some type of interference? Did somebody somehow get their way inside the cage that they shouldn't have been? Did the alliance with Mickey James work out? How? Like, what went down? But you couldn't have booked it the way that they booked it. And then post-match, to have Alexa Bliss cut that promo that she had cut, I'm looking at this and I'm starting to buy into the promo. And I know there's a lot of you guys that probably bought into it, but for me, one of the first things I look at is, okay, I'm seeing the face, especially when it comes to a female. I'm seeing the face, I'm seeing the facial reaction, right? I'm seeing the facial reactions, but where's the tears? Where's the tears? Because you gotta give me in. You gotta reel me in with the tears. The promo came off so bipolar. And I can't tell you guys how much I was at the edge of my seat going, wait a minute now. The Alexa Bliss that we have gotten from SmackDown to Raw, what we've seen of her tail end of NXT, this isn't matching up to what we're getting of Alexa Bliss tonight. What is the 411? What's really going down here, right? What it is. But then we see her deliver that classic line where she's basically saying, all you people out there, let this prove to you that anything is possible, when you dream. And then she just gives everybody that cold slap reality. It was the perfect trolling. I loved it. I ate it up tremendously. I loved it. See, it was promos like that from down in NXT, even a little bit in SmackDown, that made me fall in love so much with Alexa Bliss in the first place. And it was really nice to see her. And I got to give whoever's been doing the writing for Raw with regards to writing material for Alexa Bliss, I got to give them props for going back to what made Alexa so successful. It almost kind of follows up on constructive criticism that John Cena's dad had gave about Alexa a couple of months back. I'm not sure how many of you guys have forgot about that, but John Cena Sr., he jumped out there. He basically said, hey, look, nothing personal against Alexa. She's great in the ring. She's a great performer. But other than that, other than her little entrance, there's nothing there. There's no substance. She's supposed to be a heel, but there's really nothing there. I'm not really getting anything to make me hate her. And say what you will about the promo that she had cut with regards to Brock Lesnar, but when you just compare that to what she did tonight, and you think about similar segments that she's been involved in on Raw since she's got the call up, we need to see more of this. It's stuff like what Alexa did tonight that adds layers, that adds dimensions, that has us as viewers, as consumers, as fans, ultimately get reeled in, right? There's that connection. So I need to see more of that in the weeks to come. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, wow, are we getting a babyface Alexa Bliss? What the hell? Side note, look, I know I'm getting ready to say something that's not really going to be popular with a lot of Sasha Banks fans, but if you guys just freaking put a greatest hits compilation, and this is my challenge to Botchamania, make a compilation of all the times that Sasha Banks has cried after a match. Lord have mercy. Can we please stop with the post matches of Sasha Banks crying every single time? This is supposed to be Alexa Bliss's moment, and we see Sasha Banks just sitting at the steps. I wasn't sure if she was maybe having a yoo-hoo or what. I wasn't sure what was going on with her. I'm thinking maybe she's rolling up a big fat fatty or something. I wasn't sure what the hell was going on. But we see freaking Sasha Banks just chilling. Yeah, I don't know. At what point I thought maybe she had a black and mouse or something, and she was just, I'm just gonna kick back and wait here for a little bit. Whatever. But we just see her, and it's just okay. You can go do that as you're making your way up the ramp, going back to the gorilla position. Let this be about Alexa Bliss right now. Yeah, and the way that the cameraman kept coming back to her the first go round, I'm saying to myself, oh, why are we showing Sasha Banks? Oh, okay, I get it. She lost and it's eating her up. Okay, I get it. Whatever. Okay, now let's go in on Alexa. And then when they showed Sasha, they must have showed Sasha at least 4 to 5 times. And after maybe the second time, I'm kind of under the assumption, well, is Sasha maybe getting ready to go back in there and attack Alexa? Like, what exactly is going on here? And nothing happened. So, but yes, when you go back and you look at everything that's just going on, every time you turn around, it comes off as if whenever something does not go Sasha Banks' way, she cries. And I'm just not really understanding that, because if you're giving me a character that is supposed to be a boss, if you're giving me a character that's going out there and the definition of a boss, at least when it comes to Sasha Banks, is hey, I run this. This is my show. I run everything that's going on in this ring. Can't nothing progress without me being in the mix. You want to get to point B? Well, I'm point A. You got to go through me first if you're trying to get to that point. That's how the Sasha Banks character comes off. It comes off tough. It comes off on paper, that is, it comes off, hey, I'm willing to do any and everything by any means necessary to get the job done. I'm looking for that big payday. I'm looking for that advancement. I'm looking to be that top dog in the WWE for the women's division, right? That sounds really good. But then it seems like every single time, whether she's turning her back on somebody or she's letting that heel like kind of teasing it a little bit as far as a tweener goes. Okay. Oh, she's going dirty. She's going dirty. Oh. And then when something backfires, rather than just, okay, all right, you got the one up on me this go round, but that's okay. There'll be next time. No, she's crying. I mean, my God, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten my ass beat in all of the Gears of War games and multiplayer online. You see me running around. No, all right, well, the better team won. Let's keep it moving along. Yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. But what's next? So some of these participants that I'm looking at, honestly, the ones that really jump out at me right now, I believe you have to home in on Bailey, Sasha Banks. Me personally, if I'm just booking this, you got like 6 weeks to go until WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Honestly, at this point, you gotta have Bailey confront Sasha Banks. What the hell? What went down last night? Thought we had an agreement that it was going to be you and me, and we were going to fight this on out. We were going to team up. We were going to handle business until it was just down to you and me, and the better woman won. What the hell? And yeah, you can go with the whole Sasha Banks, Bailey, you're so gullible, you're so easy to manipulate, blah, 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 blah. I would like to believe that some of what went down tonight with regards to Sasha Banks, maybe it'll be the beginning of a heel Sasha Banks. Honestly, you ask me what I wouldn't mind seeing come up at WrestleMania. I would have no problem with a heel Sasha Banks taking on Bailey. I kind of feels as though some seeds have been planted if you really stop and think about it, and maybe things will really start popping and colliding on, if not tomorrow's Monday Night Raw, if in less than about 3 weeks. But I feel that's what's probably going to be happening with those girls. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Honestly, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. They're going to keep being involved in tag matches. They're going to keep getting involved in singles matches as well. But what they did tonight was really awesome. I must say they put on a really, really good performance. And I hope WWE strongly considers pairing Mandy up more with Goldust. Because honestly, I don't know about you guys. I don't know how many of y'all have been watching Mixed Match Challenge, but I can't get enough of that combination, quite honestly. They have just been tearing it up. Want to take this time, thank those of you that's checking out a special live edition right now of the RCWR show as we're talking WWE Elimination Chamber 2018. Do appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this out live as I speak, or maybe you're going to be checking this out on demand and or on the downloads. Do me a huge favor. Make sure on top of liking or clicking the heart, I do appreciate that. It's the comments that I really, really love. So, especially for those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand or on the downloads, make sure you click the hearts, you click the likes, but leave the comments, take part in the interactive poll. Let me know what you had thought. Shout out to everybody that we got in the chat right now. Definitely appreciate you guys that's checking out the show right now, however you may be doing it. Let's continue on. Let's talk about some more of these matches that came about from tonight's Elimination Chamber. So we had the Raw Tag Team titles. It was Titus Worldwide taking on the Bar. I got to tell you straight up, man, and I know that there's a lot of people that have probably been crapping on this tag team matchup because they've been seeing it so many times on Raw. If they haven't seen it in the form of a tag match, maybe they've seen a singles match and it's Titus taking on Cesaro, or Titus taking on Sheamus, Apollo taking on Cesaro, or Apollo taking on Sheamus. And you get the tag teams every now and then on WWE programming, and you kind of feel as though, well, why should I make the investment in checking this out on pay-per-view when I've seen this spam to death on WWE programming? But me, honestly, I thought what Titus and Apollo did tonight was pretty damn good. I must say, it was a great tag team matchup. It just really comes off. Can I dare say, it is really coming off more like Titus and Apollo have really been gelling well together. There is more chemistry there with them compared to Titus and Darren Young. Now, some people may beg to differ on that, but I'm staying firm with that. I honestly am. I'm staying firm with that. It just seems like the two of them have just been really gelling well together. I know some people are going to be like, well, what about Dana Brooke, Lee? Well, Dana Brooke is cute. She's cute. She's very attractive. And she has something to do. I'm really happy that she has something to do. I really am. No, legitimately. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being a a-hole right now or anything like that. I'm being honest. It's great that WWE just basically say, hey, Dana Brooke, see what you can do with this. Make this work. And she's doing the best that she can. I mean, come on. She's the statistician, right? Yeah, she's doing okay. But no, this was actually a really good tag team matchup. We saw the team of Cesaro and Sheamus pick up the win. You really kind of led to the impression that at this point, the way it's looking, the Bar is going to be riding into WrestleMania with those tag titles. But what's going to happen? We're hearing rumblings that Sheamus, he pretty much has somewhat the same kind of condition that plagued the career of Steve Austin and Edge. Rumblings are Sheamus is going to be wrapping it up very shortly. So you hear that, you've got that in the back of your mind. You're kind of going, okay, so is this maybe going to be it for Sheamus? Is Sheamus going to get his big send off? Gonna have to wait and see with regards to that. But honestly, just from a distance, the vibe I'm kind of getting right now, maybe we're gonna kind of go in a situation where we're gonna see some type of a triple threat, a fatal four-way, or maybe we're gonna see some type of a Raw gauntlet tag team match at WrestleMania for the tag titles. I just really wouldn't be too surprised about that. I thought it was interesting, kind of going back to the pre-show one more time. Told you I was going to be jumping around like that, but I am trying to go in a specific order for you guys. But going back to the pre-show, there was a moment that I recall where we had saw, oh, what is that team? You see, I say that and you guys are like, what team, Lee? What's the team that's on Raw? They're like a throwback to the Anderson brothers, Ole and Arn. I'm trying to think of their names. Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, the Revival. They had showed them briefly being interviewed, and they were giving their thoughts on what had came about with the tag match between Gallows Anderson taking on Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. And it only had ran for about a few seconds, but they basically were saying that's not real tag team action. There's no synergy there. There's no, there's no harmony there. And they basically were talking like that. So you hear that, and you're kind of saying to yourself, So I'm kind of getting the impression we're going to see some type of a Raw tag team titles turmoil, if you will, coming up at WrestleMania. And I honestly wouldn't be I wouldn't be disappointed with that if that's the route that they're going to be going. The more, the merrier that you can get on the card, give a little bit of something for everybody, right? That's the best way you can do it. Let's talk about the next matchup, which was Asuka taking on Nia Jax. Big stipulation right here. Remember, if Asuka won this matchup, or correction, if Nia Jax won this matchup, then Nia Jax would go to WrestleMania and it would be a triple threat match for the Raw Women's title. One of the things I was looking for in this matchup was whether or not we were going to see some type of a cameo by Alexa in a way where she would possibly interfere in this matchup. And if she had to pick between the two evils, if you will, she'd rather go with Asuka to really give herself a definitive shot, even though Asuka is undefeated currently, compared to taking on a a massive beast. And I don't say that to insult the physical appearance of Nia Jax. I have no problem with her size. I've complimented Nia many times on not just her beauty, her size. I love the empowerment that she's trying to give to women. And Lord knows we need a lot of that right now, especially considering the weekend that we had where so many people were slamming the hell out of Paige for her physique. I'll dive a little bit into that more on Tuesday night, but I tell you, I have no problem with it with Nia Jax. I love me a thick woman, all right. But you're looking at just the way it's presented to you, the character of Nia Jax. She is this juggernaut, this behemoth, that rarely can be stopped, right? Usually it's a numbers gang you got to do on Nia Jax. But these two, great matchup, really, really great matchup. The closing moments of this matchup, we saw a situation where Nia Jax had cut off Asuka with a right hand. Jax had climbed up looking for a Super Samoan drop, but Asuka had slid out, went down to the mat. Jax then goes for a big second rope splash, but wastes his time as Asuka was able to move out of the way. Jax had ended up hitting the mat very hard as a result. Jax still manages to recover though, and Asuka goes down as she charges. Jax goes for a splash on the mat. Asuka moves again. We see Jax charging at Asuka from the corner, hits the ring post shoulder first as Asuka was able to get out the way just in time. Asuka pulls Jax down into an armbar submission hold, but Jax successfully was able to power out. And pretty much Asuka went running back into the turnbuckles. Jax points at the WrestleMania 34 sign, and it seems like that's the new mandate nowadays, which is everybody make sure you point at that sign. Don't forget to let everybody know that that's what it's all about. It's like, what are they pointing at? Well, what the hell exactly are they pointing at? Are like, did somebody throw a beach ball in that section, in a particular section? Did somebody pop the question? Are they grabbing the attention of the beer man? Are they grabbing the attention of the concession vendor? What exactly are they pointing at? And that seemed to be a big theme for tonight, was a lot of people just spamming the hell out of the pointing. I don't know about you guys. For me, the pointing was just ridiculously spamming as hell tonight. Really wasn't feeling it. But closing moments of that one, we had saw Oscar. What did Jax? Yeah, so Jax acknowledged the WrestleMania 34 sign. Looked as though she was getting ready to put away Oscar, but Oscar pretty much did a roll up, picked up the 1, 2, 3 that way. That was pretty much it. Nia, sore loser at the end, just went berserk, messed the living hell out of Oscar, slammed her into ring post. Action went outside of the ring, if I'm not mistaken. Slammed her through the wall barrier, laid her out real good. Can't help but wonder what type of condition Asuka is going to be in. Hopefully they sell that so well that maybe Asuka's going to be off TV for this week. Let it go down that way. Next up, this was going to be my bathroom break. I don't know about you guys, but I'm talking about Bray Wyatt taking on Matt Hardy. One-on-one, no special gimmick, nothing, just a straight up one-on-one matchup. I'm glad I did not walk away from the TV. This actually was a decent matchup. For me, what's really been dragging as of late between Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, we've just been getting the same regurgitated stuff as far as promos from them. First go round, oh wow, this is refreshing. This is great. But then by week 7, you're going, okay, so can I get a little bit more than just what we've been getting? And I tell you, the match was good. It was decent. It was a decent matchup, but what really kind of got me going was hearing Matt Hardy sing the whole you'll fade away and classify yourself as obsolete. And we usually have been hearing this from WWE live shows, and the only reason why we know about that is if WWE is showing it, or people that were in attendance, they're busting out their personal phones and they're recording it that way and they're sharing it on social media. So that's how we know about it. But this was the first time, at least since Matt Hardy has been giving us the Woken character, this is the first time on WWE pay-per-view. Dare I say that, when I go back and I think about if he's even done it on WWE TV, I don't even recall it being on TV, but let's just say pay-per-view for the sake of the argument, where he's actually acknowledged that song. So I thought that was okay. This is nice. And it's almost kind of following up on what he said in an interview from a couple of weeks ago, which is now that everything has been resolved with Impact Wrestling over the whole trademark for Broken, his brother Jeff, Senior Benjamin, now that everything is pretty much squashed and he pretty much has all of that intellectual property now, looks as though slowly but surely everything is rolling out. But it's kind of what I had said with regards to after this match was over. By the way, Matt Hardy picked up the win. I think this was a no-brainer that Matt Hardy needed this win, because the past few times he's been locking it up with Bray Wyatt, Bray has been getting the upper hand. But I made a very interesting point on Twitter earlier tonight, which is it does not matter that Matt Hardy was able to pick up the win. What is really important is if something is built upon that win. Otherwise, it's bust. So I'm hoping that now that Matt Hardy has this whole intellectual property control over the Broken characters, trademarks, and all that, it's going to be a situation that we eventually lead to him really expanding more. And it just, when I really stop and think about it, what really made Broken Matt Hardy so successful in Impact Wrestling was the supporting cast, was Rebby, King Maxwell, Senior Benjamin, Vanguard won, the Hardy compound. So I'm hoping that now that everything has been resolved with Impact Wrestling, and now that WWE has Jeremy Borash on board, that maybe we can see the clickings of some of that creative genius come back and take Matt Hardy to even bigger and better heights, because I still feel Matt Hardy can offer a lot, not just to the wrestling business, but in particular, he can offer a lot monetary wise to the WWE. So, it's great that he picked up this win, but I'm really looking at the bigger picture right now and hoping that something now has been laid out and we'll be getting that in due time. Let's talk about the next matchup, which had consisted of, we don't have that much more to talk about, do we? I think at this point we only have two more events to talk about. Yeah, we only got two more. Am I reading this right? Yeah, according to my show notes here. So we pretty much have two more moments to talk about, and then it's my favorite part of the show where I pretty much interact with you guys and get you all's thoughts on what you thought about the pay-per-view. We'll also reveal the results of our interactive poll so far. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Make sure you give those thumbs up, click on the likes, but most importantly, comment. That's the real thing. Comment. That's the best thing you can do. All right, so Ronda Rousey, she popped up. She had this whole contract signing, right? I got to take a swig. That's good stuff. All right, so we have this contract signing. That's probably the one thing I did not talk about on the show, and I did it on purpose because I didn't want to put it out there and then kind of spoil it for everybody. But I honestly was kicking back and thinking about this contract signing, and I'm playing it in my head. Well, what could possibly happen? And I'm kind of reminded of something that I had said on the show a couple of weeks back, which is, wait a minute. So at the Royal Rumble, we see Stephanie McMahon. She's not really sure why Ronda Rousey is coming out. She's totally surprised. She shakes Ronda's hand. But then you hear this stuff about Ronda Rousey has joined the WWE full time, right? She's joined the WWE full time. But then wait a minute now. So you hear that, yeah, but yet Ronda Rousey is gonna sign a contract. So wait. Let's just rewind this a little bit. That sounds kind of confusing, doesn't it? So wait a minute. So Ronda shows up at the Royal Rumble. Stephanie McMahon, oh my God, I don't know what she's doing here. Oh my God, I'm as shocked as you are. Shakes her hand. Okay. But then comes out the very next night on Monday Night Raw, does not even acknowledge the whole, I don't know what the hell Ronda Rousey was doing in my ring, in my company, but I want answers. I want her little behind out here next week. No, nothing like that. If anything, we saw a whole bunch of praising. We saw a whole bunch of and we hear about this whole, oh, Ronda Rousey, she's going to be signing her WWE contract at Elimination Chamber. So you go, well, wait a minute. You just told me Ronda Rousey had joined the WWE full time. You did the whole press release and all that. But now you're telling me she hasn't signed a contract. So there's a little bit of stupid booking 101 right there, right? Okay, let's kind of just put that to the side. Let's just say that tonight, with regards to the Elimination Chamber, everything gets kind of cleaned up. And to a degree, I will give the writers credit. There was a little bit of a cleanup, if you will. So we have Ronda Rousey, who's introduced by Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. We thought it was just going to be Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle did come out. He pretty much had kicked it off, but before he could even introduce Ronda, Stephanie and Triple H come out, and you're going instantly, okay, it's going to get physical. Somebody is going to go through the table, right? Ronda comes out. I love seeing Ronda. She seems to be more smaller compared to when she was in the UFC. Seems like she's really been honestly, just from what I saw of her physically, just she seems to be a little bit more smaller, more leaner. I like that. That should work well for her in the ring. She talks rather briefly, basically telling the WWE universe that she hopes that in due time she can earn their respect, and that she can do the name Rowdy proud in honor of the late Roddy Piper. You're going, okay, all right, this is pretty good. The crowd not really feeling her. I gotta say, that crowd. What was the crowd, by the way? That was a Las Vegas crowd, wasn't it? The reactions all throughout the night, crowd seeing pretty much into the event, pretty active. This was a moment I was definitely paying attention to because we got to keep up with consistency. I had acknowledged how when they announced the contract signing of Ronda Rousey for tonight's chamber a couple of weeks ago on Raw, how the crowd had booed that. And I said to you guys, well, look at it from this standpoint. Maybe it's a situation where the crowd is booing the fact that they don't get to see Ronda. Let's see how it's going to be in Las Vegas come Elimination Chamber. And sure enough, Ronda got boos. You asked me straight up. I'm still being consistent. And I said to you guys, if it wasn't a situation where the boos were coming in because Ronda wasn't there, maybe it's a situation because for a lot of those fans, they know of Ronda from the MMA. They followed her career. And honestly, I can't tell you how many MMA fans that I've spoken to that are friends of mine that really feel as though Ronda Rousey is making a bad move. They understand from the monetary standpoint, she's making some really good money and she gets to basically do sports entertainment slash choreography. And she's getting paid a decent amount of money to do that. So she's being smart about it, right? But there are so many people that feel as though, hey man, she turned her back on the MMA world rather than take the defeats that she had suffered, learn from her mistakes, get back in there, train harder, be smarter, get yourself a new regime, like, get yourself out there to a new training facility and all that. Try again. You've got so many people that honestly just feel as though she kind of just abruptly left. She didn't really put a good, strong, pretty ribbon on a career of MMA. And as a result of that, that's left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths. As far as Ronda Rousey, and I saw this online a lot, which is, oh, Ronda Rousey, she couldn't cut a promo worth a damn if her life depended on it. I saw a lot of that tonight. For me, I honestly did not have a problem with the promo that she had cut. And I'll tell you the reason why. And I'm being consistent here. I've followed the career of Ronda Rousey in the MMA world way before she even came to the WWE. And if there's one thing that Ronda really isn't too keen on, it's interviews. Ronda really isn't too keen on talking that much. She wants to do all her talking in the ring. Quite honestly, that's what she wants to do. But she's going to learn real quick that in the world of sports entertainment slash the WWE, you've got to have a little bit of personality out there as well. Honestly, for me, I'm not going to read too much into what she had cut tonight. I believe that what we had got tonight was a sincere Ronda Rousey. I think what we got tonight was a little bit of a peek into the woman behind the mystique, all the things that we've heard over the years. But at the same time, it's very conflicting. It's almost a case of stupid booking 101. Riddle me this for a second. If Ronda comes out to, Joan and the Jets, is that the group? If she's coming out to, I don't give a damn about my reputation. When you hear that song, what's one of the first things that you think about? If you know the lyrics to the song and everything, and for those of you that don't know the lyrics to the song, you don't know your, 80s, 90s classic rock music like that, do yourself a favor, go online and brush up a little bit. But when you pay attention to the lyrics for that song, you're led to the impression, right? You're led to the impression that, okay, this person, the lyrics of the song, they don't give a damn what people say about them. They don't give a damn about this person's opinion. This person's going to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. They don't give a damn what people are saying about them. When you hear a song like that, that's pretty damn powerful. That's like you're coming out there, you're owning it. So riddle me this, with that type of song, matching up to Ronda Rousey, and we've got Ronda Rousey saying, "Oh, all I want to do is earn you all's respect. I'm going to do any and everything I can humanly possible to earn you all's." I'm sorry, but doesn't that conflict? Just really stop and think about it. I'm not nitpicking. This isn't something that I've thought about for weeks. This is just freestyle thinking in the time of the moment that it comes about. Don't you guys think, realistically, be honest with yourselves, doesn't that sound a bit conflicting? Just pay attention to the song, pay attention to the lyrics, and then match it up with Ronda, and then match it up to the promo that she had cut tonight. Now, one could maybe make the argument, hey, maybe she was given bullet points. That's not exactly, that wasn't her own genuine words. That was kind of fed to her by the writers. Well, shame on the writers. That's all I got to say. Shame on the writers. But I thought the segment was shaky. I thought it was a bit awkward, but it kind of picked itself up. Kurt Angle fumbled a little bit. Kurt Angle kind of fumbling with his words. Hey, you remember at WrestleMania, what was that? WrestleMania 14? I'm sorry, the 31? Like, wait a minute. Wait, what's going on here, Kurt? But no, that was hilarious. It was nice hearing Kurt Angle say, wait a minute. Didn't you guys say a couple of WrestleManias back that, remember the conversation you were telling me how it took us 3 years, but we finally owned the bitch? And you're just, oh, zinger. That was, you're going, that was pretty freaking awesome. I loved it. I love it. That was a nice little moment right there. And Kurt just really messing all that up big time. And I just love seeing Triple H looking at Kurt Angle like, shut the fuck up, Kurt. You're messing up a good thing here. It was kind of like Triple H was trying to get to third base and Kurt Angle was just cock blocking big time. I was loving that. It was hilarious as hell. And then to see the situation occur where Ronda's getting ready to sign the contract, and she's like, Kurt, you got something else you want to say? What's going on here? And Kurt's just laying it down and how, oh, well, I think you should know that ever since you did what you did at WrestleMania a couple of years back, Triple H and Stephanie, they vowed revenge. And I'm just saying, once you sign that contract, I'm not really sure what they got in store for you. So you see all that coming about. Triple H hurries up, gets Kurt Angle out of the ring. And now it's a situation where Ronda's now a little bit, well, wait a minute now, maybe I shouldn't exactly be signing this contract. Now, again, stupid booking 101. So let's see if we got this right. So you're being told about some stuff that went down behind your back leading up to you potentially joining the company full time. You're about to put your name on a dotted line where you are contracted legally to the WWE, who will be booking you for X amount of dates. You'll be appearing at X amount of events. And as a result, you'll be paid X amount of money. You're going to have to go where they tell you to go, when, all that, how you need to get there, all that. You go, okay, so it doesn't appear as though Ronda is going to sign this contract. Ronda's going to go freaking rowdy and she's going to kick some ass, and that's pretty much going to be the end of it, right? No. So looks as though things are about to get physical. Triple H ends up being put through the table by Ronda Rousey. That was actually a pretty good spot. Stephanie McMahon pretty pissed off. She slaps the hell out of Ronda. Ronda comes right back, getting ready to get physical with Stephanie. Stephanie rolls out of the ring. You think that's the end of it, but no, you have Ronda Rousey sign the contract. So wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Now you got the $1 million question. All this crap that was revealed by Kurt Angle, and yet Ronda signed the contract. Why did Ronda sign the contract knowing what Kurt Angle had informed her of how the authority really feels? Hopefully this gets cleaned up, because correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Now we're being told that Ronda is going to be showing up on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. So, if that's the case, you got to definitely go back and you got to touch that up a little bit. So, but a very awkward segment, quite honestly. Uh, some spots okay. The Kurt Angle stuff, I wasn't feeling. Some of you all said Kurt Angle was coming off a little bit like Mike Adamle. I would, I would definitely agree with some of you all on that assessment. I would imagine that as a result of Kurt Angle opening his mouth the way that he did, I'm just gonna call it right now. With everything that had came about with the injury to Jason Jordan in real life, I personally feel as though somehow we were gonna get Kurt Angle taking on Triple H one-on-one, but now that you gotta kind of take Jason Jordan out of the equation, the vibe I'm getting right now, unless you're gonna do Ronda Rousey and The Rock, which I doubt, because you've got so many motion picture distributor companies and all that. We don't want you doing that. No, because if you get injured, you're going to be sidelined for X amount of weeks, X amount of months, and that's going to cost us money while you're healing up. We don't really want you to do that. I don't think The Rock is going to be appearing at this year's WrestleMania. I do believe we're going to get some type of a tag match, though. And I believe we're going to see Ronda Rousey team up with Kurt Angle to take on Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And I feel the circumstances that's probably going to come about, there's probably going to be a scenario. I'm just jumping ahead a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Monday night we see a scenario where the authority lashes out at Kurt Angle. And maybe it's a situation where he's suspended indefinitely. But then something weird comes about where maybe Stephanie, and she gets the help of maybe some of the women on the roster. Maybe they do a number on Ronda, and a scenario occurs where a challenge is issued to Ronda. Find yourself an opponent if you can, not an opponent, find yourself a tag team partner if you can find one that'll face me and Hunter at WrestleMania. Anybody you think you can find, but good luck with that, because last we checked, there's a lot of people that hate your freaking guts. The situation occurs where, okay, we said I can get anybody I want. Boom, Kurt Angle. That's how you knock out two birds with one stone. Because you honestly had a decent amount of people that were looking forward to seeing Triple H versus Kurt Angle one-on-one. But the way things are looking right now, we're probably really not even going to be getting that. Quite sad. And it's kind of sad, because I actually was looking forward to Kurt and Triple H one-on-one, but doesn't look like we're going to be getting that, which is okay. As long as you can kind of give us a nice consolation prize. And I think if you give it to us in that form, that kind of makes up, right? One more match to talk about. Let's have at it, man. It's the main event match. I don't need to spend several minutes on this one. Of course, I'm talking about the Elimination Chamber match for a WWE Universal title shot. Elias taking on John Cena, taking on Seth Rollins, taking on Finn Balor, taking on Roman Reigns, taking on The Miz, taking on Braun Strowman. This match went exactly the way I had envisioned it without getting all too much in the detail. I felt as though if there was ever a time to give Braun Strowman such a dominating performance, this was it, quite honestly. And it was a damn good dominating performance. I would have to say we saw Braun Strowman eliminate not one, not even 2, not even 3, not even 4, but 5 participants we had saw Braun Strowman eliminate in this Elimination Chamber matchup. Great, good, strong, dominating performance. In the end, came on down to Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and they kind of go back to the top of the show as far as me being optimistic. I was hopeful. There was a big part of me that was hopeful that maybe, just maybe, it would be Braun Strowman. And it's so funny because I was kicking back and I was watching really the main event match with the family, and the question was asked, especially after the finish. Well, I don't understand. And this was the consensus. I already knew what time it was, but I was getting, I don't understand. Explain it to me. This Braun Strowman guy, from what I've seen of watching him on WWE programming month after month, he's been clicking more and more with the fan base. He's really been getting over. His merch is selling. The crowds love him. Why isn't the WWE going in this direction? They're supposed to be the biggest consumer, right? They are kind of, as Stephanie McMahon had said in an interview months, maybe a year or two back, the WWE fans they look at as their focus group panel, and whatever ideas that they are considering as far as pushing this star or this storyline or what have you, the WWE universe is their focus group study panel. They figure out what's working with the fans, what's not, and they basically tweak from there. Well, here is a situation where for months now, fans have been loving them some Braun Strowman. And it hasn't been a case where, well, no, it's only been within the recent 2. No, there has been a strong appreciation there for Braun Strowman for many months now. So you can't help but kind of wonder, well, what the hell? Well, what the hell? What's going on here? This makes no freaking sense. And if you ask me straight up, I think it's a damn shame. I will go on record. I think it's a damn shame that Braun did not come out on top tonight. Straight up. Because for me, I'm going to look at it from this standpoint. Is it a damn shame? It's a damn shame. But at the same time, WWE already has laid out the course that they want to go, especially when it comes to outlining WrestleMania. They've already booked it months in advance. Now, if it's a situation where somebody gets injured, then they got to do what they got to do. But this is the course that they have wanted to take with Roman Reigns for a long time. As far as they're concerned, they have waited patiently. They have stayed the course with Roman Reigns. They went backwards a bit. They tried to go in any other direction, but eventually it was always going to come on back to Roman Reigns. And at the end of the day, love Roman Reigns, hate Roman Reigns. Sadly, if you match up the ticket sales, the merch to a Braun Strowman, sadly, Roman got Braun beat. So you gotta follow the freaking money. That's what it's all about. You gotta go with the freaking money. I don't like telling you guys that. I really, really don't. But that's the way it's looking right now. And it's a damn shame. And to the person that keeps saying you need yeah, I agree. They need that crack money. That's exactly what they need right now. They're trying to get their hit. I've told you guys for months that WWE is going to do whatever is going to sell them tickets at the gates. They're going to do whatever is going to sell them the pay-per-view buys. All that crap. And it's freaking sad. Well, hang on a second here, guys, because this is funny. All right, so we'll do that. Boom. It's freaking funny though, man. You know, it's freaking funny and it's freaking sad. But this is the course that WWE is taking. If you ask me straight up, I said this once before and I'll say it again, which is, you know, will 2018 be the year of Braun Strowman? Yes. I definitely feel that Braun Strowman before 2018 is up. I actually wouldn't be surprised if not by SummerSlam, shortly after SummerSlam. I wouldn't be surprised if a situation had occurred where Braun Strowman gets a run as the WWE champion. I always tell you guys how WWE usually will take their experiments during the summertime to try to see if, okay, well, let's go with this person instead as champion. Let's see how this plays out. And if everything works out, then they usually will ride that person out going into next year. But sometimes we'll see a situation occur where, okay, nah, it's not quite working. And then they'll kind of bring it back full circle to pretty much how things had culminated at WrestleMania. So, but if you ask me as it stands here tonight, will Braun Strowman be in a situation where he'll eventually become champion? Yeah. But I just think it's a damn shame that, I mean, you've got great story. Look, there's great story between Roman and Brock. Yeah, there's unfinished business. But what's even more appealing just on paper is Braun, Brock Lesnar, straight up one-on-one for the title. So much history that's there. The way Braun has come up almost reminds you a lot of an extremely young Brock Lesnar that first came to the WWE, right? So, but for fans of Braun Strowman, I would say don't lose hope. Don't feel slighted by what you had saw tonight. I know there's a lot of Braun Strowman fans out there that feel as though, man, WWE royally effed Braun Strowman and royally without any grease the fans on this one. To the point, let's talk about the actual results of the poll right now. You can cast your vote if you did not vote yet. It's here on the YouTube channel. Go on over to the communities tab page. I asked you guys straight up, how would you all vote for tonight's WWE Elimination Chamber event? And right now via YouTube, so far we got about 23 votes in. We have 22% of you that are giving it a thumbs up. 35% of you are staying in the middle. Meanwhile, 43% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Now, for those of you that are saying, well, Lee, you mentioned something about Twitter earlier. You said something about a Twitter poll. How's the Twitter poll looking? Well, I'm glad you asked. As it stands right now, we have over 250 votes right now. And so far, 12% of folks are giving Elimination Chamber a thumbs up. 19% are staying in the middle, and 69% are giving Elimination Chamber a thumbs down. If you ask me straight up, I would not be surprised if that 69% overwhelmingly really had to do with who won the male Elimination Chamber matchup. Because I believe in my heart of hearts, I believe we all would be in agreement from pre-show all the way up to the main event match, minus the finish. Don't think about the finish for a second. All the matches were good. If you're going to rate it as far as thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up. If you're going to look at it from a number scale, I'm trying to stay away from the number scale, but out of 10, I would have to say 7, maybe a 7.5. But when you get down to the finish, which honestly, the fact that so many people were surprised, and I can understand folks that might have been surprised that Roman won, especially considering we got the Johnny Bravo dude that's putting all this stuff out there, trying to link up Roman Reigns with the steroids allegations, and he's promising he's going to have even more new exclusive evidence that's going to shed more light on Roman Reigns. That's why I was kind of having my head in the clouds a little bit, saying, well, maybe Braun can actually get this, because you've got this scandal, this new scandal that's coming about with Roman. I don't know if does WWE really want to be having this in the limelight right now? How are you going to shield Roman Reigns from now until WrestleMania? Because if you have this guy go and do interviews, you know this is going to be one of the topics that's going to be brought up. So do you really want to put Roman in that type of a position, or are you just going to not have him do any media press blitz leading up to Mania? So you can kind of protect him that way. I honestly thought for sure that with this stuff that was coming about with the John Bravo dude, that maybe, just maybe, powers that be were gonna go in a different direction, but they are feeling as though their boy is okay, and this is the direction that they're gonna be going. But for me, with regards to what I saw at Elimination Chamber, Braun had a damn good, strong, dominating performance. It was awesome. Where does Braun go from here? Does Braun maybe win this year's Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Trophy? I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially considering you've got the Andre the Giant documentary that's going to be airing on HBO April 10th, like a week after WrestleMania. I can't wait to see that documentary, by the way. Looks like it's going to be freaking fantastic. So, do you maybe have Braun Strowman win that? I mean, it would make a lot of sense. It would. Does he need it? No, but it would make a lot of sense booking wise if you have him go on ahead and win that. At least that way, you can continue to have him uh, be in the limelight, right? That's good bragging rights, because his strong dominating performance, you can like honestly say, man, other than a guy like Mark Henry, other than a guy such as the Big Show, other than a guy such as Kane, other than Mark Henry, other than Brock Lesnar, you have a situation where, hey, Braun is the next big thing right here. Braun Strowman is the next big guy. He's the next big deal. So, yeah, why not maybe have him win the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy? Or is it a situation whenever Money in the Bank surfaces, if it's going to even surface at all? Do you maybe have Braun Strowman win Money in the Bank? So those are two scenarios, but I have a feeling before 2018 is out, folks, Braun's going to be the man. He's definitely going to be the man. It's just a damn shame that it's very well possible we may not get a Braun Strowman Brock Lesnar matchup, because you just don't know. With Brock Lesnar, he may decide he wants to be done with the WWE. He may decide he wants to go back to the UFC instead, some form of MMA. Or maybe he just wants to be done altogether and just enjoy nice, quiet civilian life with his family, beautiful wife, right? So there's a lot that's up in the air right now, man. Cena, safe to say Cena's going to have that match with The Undertaker, way it's kind of looking right now. And as usual, year after year, we've get the usual speculation. Is John Cena gonna go heel? This I, honestly, I'm just gonna look at it for what it's worth. The way it appears, Cena, Undertaker, gonna be locking it up. Taker has had a few surgeries. He's done a little bit of rehabbing since the last time we saw him. Should be a pretty solid matchup. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what comes about, if in fact these two are going to be locking it up. Can't wait and see. Let's turn it over to you guys here in the chat. Let's see what you all had thought about the event so far. This is my favorite part of the show. Taking a look in the comment section here. And let's see what we got here. Da, 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 da. Boom. And I'm just going through the comment section here, guys. You guys gotta forgive me here. There we go. So that does that. Seeing spam messages, so I'm like trying to clean that up here. You guys got to work with me here. I see Mickey or Sasha should have won. Mickey would have been a surprise, right? And I even told you guys there's history there with Mickey and Asuka following up on NXT Canada. I told you guys I totally was fine with that. Let's see. It's funny. Yeah, very good observation, Marquise. Marquise is saying it's funny. All the people from Tough Enough that didn't win are doing great. That's a very good observation. We actually have one person that's excited that Roman Reigns is going to be facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Stephen Harris. I knew Roman Reigns was going to win. That was my pick. That was my pick at Elimination Chamber. I can't wait to see Brock versus Roman at Mania. And I'm sorry, Phoenix. I love reading your comments, dude. But as far as buried Strowman, buried is such a strong word to use, man. I wouldn't say that. I mean, honestly, stop and think for a second. You had Braun Strowman give such a damn good dominating performance. We saw him kick out of the AA. We saw him kick out of a Superman punch. We saw him kick out of the spear. We saw him kick out of the curb stomp. We saw him kick out of the coup de grace. We saw him kick out of Elias's finisher. We saw him kick out of the sling blade by Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. And every single time it was a situation where Braun Strowman was able to pick up a MFer, put him over his shoulder, do that running power slam, boom, it's over. 1, 2, 3. One point, we see all the participants gaining up on Braun Strowman, and he is hawking out like I don't know what. I got to give WWE a lot of props as far as how they have booked Braun. It's been consistent. You can connect it all the way back to the gang up that was done on Braun leading up to Miz and Miztourage putting him in the dumpster truck and all that. I mean, great numbers game that you see happen to Braun from time to time. It was a dominating performance, one of the best showcases of a performance I've seen from an up and coming talent in recent years. I have to say that really shows to me and demonstrates to me that when you put this young man in a position of, okay, we're putting the spotlight on you, we're testing you, show us what you can do. Give it to us. This is your moment. Don't choke. He did not choke. Tonight, Braun hit a freaking home run. And honestly, for those of you that are a little bit upset that Braun didn't win tonight, you need to look at it from this standpoint. All the tests that Braun was given tonight just solidifies, I think, to a lot of the people in the back, bookers, all that, McMahon, H, I think it reaffirms to them, hey, all right, we're giving Braun these tests, and every single time he's batting a good average, he's consistent. That eventually gets rewarded, folks. And I feel, mark my words, mark this date and time, before 2018 is up, Braun Strowman will be your WWE champion. Definitely. I don't care if it's on Raw or he gets put on over to SmackDown. He's getting a belt before 2018 is up. See what we got here. Keep reading some more comments here. Yeah. Reading some more comments here. I've never seen somebody rate a pay-per-view 0 out of 10. I don't know about a 0 out of 10. Interesting. My keys. I said it before. I have produced video for indie shows before, and let me tell you, that camera guy or production guy was slacking big. Yeah, It was very, I didn't like the abrupt cuts. Anybody that hasn't watched Elimination Chamber yet, you got to go back and watch it. You see these abrupt cuts, shakiness, wide zoom in, wide zoom out, nauseating. And it was happening every like freaking 5 seconds. I just was not feeling it, man. It was irritating as hell. Let's see here. Let me show some love to the Spreaker chat. I gotta make sure there's nobody in the Spreaker chat here. See what we got here in the Spreaker chat. Let's see here. Not too sure about Ronda. I am a fan of her, but not sure it's going to be the right fit for her. Let alone the pay-per-view event was not so good. The only match I enjoyed was the main event, unfortunately. And I continue to see this whole Ronda Rousey has no mic skills. Anybody that's a true fan of Ronda Rousey knows talking has never really been her strong point. Ronda just wants to go in the ring and whoop ass. She really does not. So much so, anybody that has picked up her book, you know that's a damn good ghostwriter that she had for her book. And I don't mean ghostwriter like Johnny Blaze. I'm saying ghostwriter, okay? That helped her out in writing that book. No, you know, you guys, you got to just rewind it back for a minute. And those of you that have never been familiar with the work of Ronda Rousey, again, she's never talking has been her strong point. Now, if you see her in movies, yeah, she knows how to read a good script. She can act out the scenes, all that good stuff. But she's always been a girl. Let's talk action. That's always been it. She's gonna learn real quick. I think it's interesting that she's been doing a lot of training at the performance center or wherever she's been getting in her training, but that's just been for the ring. I think in due time, if she stays diligent, she'll get the mic talk. She'll get all that down. She'll get those skills down. And I'm with Austin. Yeah, if nothing happens tomorrow as far as Cena Taker, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, you got to do enough of a build up, quite honestly. And I would hope that we're not going to get a scenario where 4 weeks or 3 weeks before Mania, wham, it's like a rush joint. Yeah, I would say get things popping. And usually WWE has a pretty solid track record for the night after their their final, whether you want to say dual branded pay-per-view or the final Raw pay-per-view event. Pretty much when we're like 6 weeks away or 7 weeks away from Mania, they usually get things popping that first week as they pretty much count it down. So yes, I'm expecting big things to happen as far as tomorrow goes. Let's see here. I'm reading some more comments, guys. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet. Are we? I think you're trying to say, are we going to see Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania for the no. The only way I see that happening is if Asuka says to Kurt Angle, hey, put Nia in the match as well. Still go ahead and make it a triple threat match because I've got unfinished business with her. But then that would just be silly. That almost kind of like defeats the whole purpose of what they had did at Elimination Chamber, wouldn't you say? So no, I don't see that happening. Instead, what I see happening is Nia Jax having a little bit of unresolved business with Nia Jax. I can see the two of them locking it up one more time on Raw before Asuka puts all her focus and attention on Alexa. Let's see what happened here. What happened to the guy that won Tough Enough? His ass got fired. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the contract and all. I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah, the Chewbacca dude. Yeah, it didn't work out. They let him go. Let's see what else here. Reading some more comments here. Appreciate that. Thank you. I think that's it. I think we did good, man. I'm just burning through the rest of the comments here. I don't really see anything else. Let me poke my head in. That nope, that looks good as well. And let me refresh Facebook. Gotta make sure we're showing the people in Facebook some love. Facebook is good as well. All right, good. Facebook is good. All right. And I think that's it, guys. Honestly, make sure. Are we still streaming on yeah, we're still streaming on Facebook. So that's good. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna shut it down on that note. I don't see any more. Yeah, I pretty much went through all the comments. Let's take a look at the polling one more time before we wrap it up. And I definitely want to continue to get you all's thoughts on Elimination Chamber tonight. So keep it going. Last tally, as it's looking right now, we asked you guys on YouTube and on Twitter, what did you make of Elimination Chamber? So far, we have 21% of you guys giving it a thumbs up, 38% of you are staying in the middle, and 42% of you are giving it a thumbs down. That's 24 votes and counting on YouTube. Over on Twitter, we now are almost at 260 votes. We have 12% of you that are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. 19% of you are staying in the middle, and 69% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Ouch. Ouch. On that note, let's end the show on that note, man. Yeah, seriously. Because I think when you break that down, it's going, how many of you all really gave it the rating that you gave it because Braun didn't win, or anyone but you, Roman, right? You got to really stop and think like that. Next time I'm coming on live for you guys, I'm going to be live this Tuesday night, February 27th at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll be coming on as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. Look forward to talking about all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. We've been doing it for you guys since 2011. A lot of headlines we're going to be getting into. I'm definitely going to offer my take on the whole recent Paige body shamming that's been going on. I'll also tell you about my Black Panther experience, or lack of experience. Trust me, it's not what you think. You'll actually get a kick out of the story when you hear about it. But that's going to be coming at you guys this Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. You'll be able to catch that live on YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker. And if you haven't done so already, you know the RCWR show has its own app. It's free, and it's available right now in the Google Play Store. Love that app. I've been playing around with it myself. When the show is live, you get the notifications. You can just listen to the show live through the app that way. It's got its own built-in chat, all that good stuff. You can't beat that. You can't beat free. So download that bad boy today when you guys get the opportunity. I want to take this time out. I want to thank the many of you that have checked this live stream, or at this point now you're watching it on demand and on the downloads. I do appreciate the many of you that went out of your way to check this out. Make sure you give me those thumbs up, but most importantly, comment, especially those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand after the fact. Make sure you comment, keep the conversation going, man. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. So to you, our YouTube audience, we're going to wish you a very good night, good morning. Catch you guys on Tuesday night.